Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hi everybody.
Hello everyone.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched Without Remorse. Zero remorse.
Without tremors.
You gonna feel remorse, buddy?
Nope.
Nope. That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
What we know, Senior Chief Kelly is the third member to be attacked. 3 perps are dead. Also killed was his wife.
They better hope he doesn't survive.
Why's that?
He is more dangerous and effective than any man we have in the field.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was nothing this weekend, huh?
There was this, and there's the animated movie, The Mitchells versus the Machines, which is getting a lot of good buzz.
Really?
Yeah, it's I forget the director. I think it's the director of Gravity Falls, but it was the main hook is that it was produced by Lord and Miller.
Oh. Yeah, I could have watched that
And Netflix,
instead of this.
I think Netflix won a big bidding war to get it because it was it was supposed to come out last year, I believe, and then of course the world ended. So
Right. This is the Tom Clancy dad porn movie about a guy without remorse.
Only slightly updated for a post-Cold War world.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. Tom, how'd you like this movie?
I liked it fine. It's this is a Tom Clancy thriller.
Yeah, I thought yes. I think yes and no. I think it was lazier than most Tom Clancy's. They just do the sum of all fears plot. They're trying to have a war, create a war between the Americans and the Russians. It's like Clancy.
Dave, that's the plot of like 8 Tom Clancy.
I know. That's the thing. It's very lazy.
Yeah,
I think I've said this somewhere. Is that like I love the dad porn that is Jack Ryan, but like the new season of Jack Ryan plus this, I'm like, man, they gotta update. They really gotta update it. Because it's just it's getting kind of bad. This is one of the most like what's his name shows up. Guy Pearce shows up, and the moment he shows up and walks through the room, I was like, okay, bad guy trying to start a war, and then that was it. It's just like it was the least surprising movie I've ever seen.
Right? Yeah. They have Jamie Bell in there as the CIA guy, and they really lay it on thick that like John Kelly doesn't trust him and thinks he's a rat, and it's like, well, clearly he's a red herring, and the bad guy's gonna be Guy Pearce.
You have Guy Pearce, and he's not doing anything. He's the villain. And then the pregnant wife shows up. A pregnant wife in a Clancy novel or a movie, that's like a teenager having sex in a slasher. Like she shows up, and I'm like, oh, she's dead. She is a dead woman.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Because Jack Ryan's family does not get murdered.
No, but it felt so fucking Clancy because I knew what this guy's deal was. He's Liev Schreiber.
Yeah, and Willem Dafoe. He's like a mercenary type with nothing to lose. And it was like, oh, look, something to lose. Like, oh, yeah, this is a revenge movie, pregnant wife and daughter. Yeah. Not
going to do anything surprising or like that's what I mean is like they didn't do... In the age of action movies now, movies like Nobody and even John Wick, where like they're kind of subverting it, or they know that there's so many tropes.
This, like a lot of Tom Clancy stuff, because this is based on a book I think that was published in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And John Kelly / John Clark is a character that's been in I think every single Jack Ryan book.
I think so. Yeah.
But they're very dated.
Yes.
And they're dated not only in their, I mean, America and Russia being at odds obviously is not dated. But
no, but this is a dated version.
It's a
this
dated.
Is like
this is
Cold
like
War,
right?
stuff.
This is too. This plot doesn't work unless the two countries are on the brink of war, and I don't think anyone would say that that's the current situation between America and Russia. Obviously, things are not good, but we're not like fingers steady above the button. It's not the Cold War anymore.
If you had to make this movie. First of all, if you had to make this movie, change it. Change the movie. But, like, if you had to make this script, make it take place in the 90s, at least. Or the 80s. You know what I mean? Like, because it really felt like Cold War shit. And they were trying to make it modern, and it's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I know they updated some of it. I went into a minor rabbit hole, because there was a bit of a discussion about John Kelly's backstory on the internet this past week, because this movie is coming out. And the tragedy of his murdered family is like way more convoluted and unnecessarily fridging, because I want to talk about
it.
Manages to fridge, like his backstory in the book is like really, really embarrassing. Like it's like it's the ultimate like dad porn revenge fantasy, where it's like his wife was a sex worker that he rescued, and then she was re-abducted by the people she left.
God.
It's embarrassing. And then I think his mom also gets killed or something. They fridge two women somehow. I think it's a real convoluted and stupid thing that for the movie they wisely just reduced it to, okay, he's married to a woman named Pam. They
still fridge the shit out of her. And fridging is a thing that modern action knows about. And I feel like that's the stuff where it's like, this isn't even subversive to not fridge a woman. It's just progress in writing. Like the plot is so antiquated, because not only do they
very dated.
Not only do they fridge her and her unborn daughter, but he spends maybe a minute of the movie caring about that fact. Most of the movie, he's just doing action stuff. And I know it's very fridgy, because it's like, oh, it's all for her. But like, he doesn't really mourn. He doesn't seem emotionally like fucked up about it. He's just playing it like an action guy.
I'm gonna push back on that.
Well, he has that forest sex dream, I guess.
No, I think there are a couple of scenes where it shows, at least via Michael B. Jordan's performance, that he is on the brink. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's a man with nothing to lose. I'm just saying that they're not really like, she doesn't matter. It's just her name. And like, he doesn't seem like he's angry. He gets into a burning car.
I don't know.
He doesn't give a shit about anything, but he's not like, he doesn't feel like he's mourning really. At any point.
They definitely don't. There's like one scene, like the scene where he crawls down the hallway to try to get to their bedroom, I thought was fine in terms of conveying the weight of the loss as it happens. And then there's a brief scene where he kind of sheds a little tear in the hospital when he wakes up.
It's bare minimum.
But I will push back and say there is not a scene of him mourning, but I never forgot that was the reason. Like he reminds pretty much everyone around him that no, these people murdered my wife. Like, fuck these people. Right. I'm not gonna play a political game of like, okay, well, you got some of our guys and we got some of your guys. It's fine. We're even. It's like, no. We're not even.
Right.
So
it's still wildly irresponsible. Everybody letting him do this stuff. That's sort of the point.
Yeah, I appreciate, and it is kind of another indication that Guy Pearce is supposed to be the bad guy, because his commanding officer is like, absolutely not. He should not go on this mission. It's way too personal for him. His judgment is already clouded because he went to prison for murdering a Russian diplomat in the middle of the street.
But it's I still feel like it's bare minimum. It's just doing the work needed to get the character to do the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to
we don't.
It's fridging. It's fridging.
Yeah, it's fridging. We don't see a scene where he feels it. We see the effects of the loss, but we don't really ever see him. I don't know.
It doesn't feel like it informs his character that much. Like, he's a man with no. It's what John Wick realized. They were like, it can be a dog. It really doesn't matter. We might as well not kill off a woman. Although they do just off camera.
Yeah, and it's not
cancer.
It's not the reason.
Yeah, and it's just the movie is not going to do that work. It's not going to do the work justifying it. She's barely a character. And yeah, I just like she was doomed from the start.
Oh hell yeah, yeah.
What's the plot? So he has the wife.
Well, the plot is they go on a CIA mission to pull out this high value hostage. They're told it's one group of people, but when they get there, they find out it's Russians. They kill a few. A couple of months after the mission, Russians kill off a few members of his team. They also come to his house to try to kill him. They don't.
Right.
But his wife is killed in the thing.
He's distracted eating night nuts. I get it.
He's eating night nuts and listening to music. Yeah. It's like it's 9:30 at night and he's downstairs in the dark listening to music and eating nuts. I'm like, nobody does that. And
not a single person does that.
Not a single human being does that.
But whatever. I guess he does it.
So he gets himself sent to prison because he decides to take matters into his own hands.
Sorry, I do need to back up, even though we're just doing the synopsis, because so his team is killed, and that results in the funniest scene, which is a man like getting the mail, and he just gets slammed by a van.
Yeah.
I burst into laughter, and then it just cuts.
Yeah.
And then the scene's over, and I was like, what? Did I dream that? What was that?
Nope.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I love the idea that this like covert team of international assassins runs a man down in the street with a fucking worker van, like a plumber's van.
They were like, "Look, we're all hungry, right? Let's just hit him with the van and go get lunch."
Yeah,
we were gonna do a whole thing here. Let's just hit him with the van. He's right there.
Yeah, they probably did have a whole plan, and then they turned the corner and saw him standing there fucking with his mailbox. They're like, "Well, shit, step on it."
Yeah, and he doesn't see it coming.
This is gonna save us like 30 minutes.
It's like a bit from the Scary Movie films. Mm-hmm. Like it's just van from off screen slams into him.
Right, and there's no way it seriously is like a big like van. Plumber's van. It's like a big panel van. There's no fucking way that would not register in your peripheral vision.
Right.
Barreling down the street towards you.
He doesn't even try to move.
No, he doesn't even look in its direction.
It's extremely funny.
Yeah. It's just another thing that movies fucking do all the time where it's somebody that happens and it's like, well, that's impossible. There's no way the person wouldn't have seen that.
Yeah.
Anyway, he finds out like his buddy, his former CO, hands him a file that she stole that has the identity of 3 of the 4 guys that broke into his house. So he goes to visit the dude at the Russian embassy that gave these guys passports. He interrogates him to figure out the name of the 4th dude that came to his house that wasn't killed and escaped. And then kills the guy. So he ends up in prison. They bust him out of prison. Like, okay, we're going to use you for this mission to go kill this last 4th guy or extract him. One of the two. They're going to go get this 4th guy. They get sent there, but it's a screw job. Their plane gets shot down. It's a thrilling action sequence. They have to get a raft to get to land. They go on the mission and they figure out it's even more of a setup. It was just there to make it look like they showed up and killed a bunch of people on Russian soil. It's like we said, it's a false flag thing. It's meant to egg
the guy they're going after blows himself
up because it turns out he's a CIA agent.
Yeah, he says some riddles and blows himself up.
Mm-hmm. So they get out of there. They make it out of there by John Kelly like blows up the building and fakes his own death.
This is man.
and they steal a boat.
They get out of there because he's like, I'm going to create a clearing for you guys. And then he just gets to the roof and starts having an action sequence. And I was like, how is this helping anybody? They don't really explain, like,
he's
distracting. He's causing a distraction.
Right. He distracts them while the rest of the team essentially gets out the back.
Yeah. It's silly. Like, logistically, like, that idea where it's like, so the building wasn't surrounded. No one's paying attention. It's fine. Like, it's fine for what it is. It's still a little, like, they yada some stuff.
They hand-wave a lot of stuff. He gets back to America. He kidnaps Guy Pearce and forces him to admit that it was him all along. Then he drives his car into the Potomac River.
Yeah.
And drowns Guy Pearce.
It's like the writers were running out of time. They're like, have him just swerve into the river.
Have him just drive into the river. I mean, they set it up. And they have a couple of scenes where they emphasize that he's a Navy SEAL and he can hold his breath and yada yada.
And then they have a funeral for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's at the funeral, and I thought that's a bad idea.
Right, like he's sitting in the backseat of a car, like 100 yards away from his casket. It's like maybe you shouldn't actually like physically attend the funeral.
It's gonna be like the Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah.
One of them's gonna go, oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is. Like maybe you could FaceTime in. I don't know. Anything but physically being there.
I get it. Like if I faked my death, I would 100% want to be at the funeral watching it from binoculars.
To think I was a goddamn ghost.
Yeah. I'd want to know. But like,
I want to see what people cry.
Yeah.
I want to see what people try to hook up at my funeral.
Yeah. So his second car interrogation, he loves them car interrogations. Guy Pearce confesses.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people just, like, both of his car interrogations are people confessing to stuff. They don't need to confess because they're going to die.
Right, and he makes it clear he's going to kill them.
Yeah, and both times it's like, you just get someone in a car, put an element around it, water or fire or whatnot,
mm-hmm.
And they'll just fucking say everything, even if they know they're going to die. They bring that to the head of the CIA. They disappear him. They say, you're John Clark now. And he's like, that's a dumb name. And I thought, yes, it is. But whatever. She says something like, there's a CIA. They're not very creative.
Yeah.
Which is like, feels like a hit against Tom Clancy, but whatever.
It might, it might be. He's dead. What's he going to do?
Yeah.
Not a goddamn thing, that's what.
Yeah. This is a 90s movie.
It is. This is a 90s thriller. It's not a good 90s thriller.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. It isn't a good 90s thriller.
I was so delighted that it was a 90s thriller that I was like, I'm enjoying this. And I did think a couple of the sequences were pretty good. Like I thought the shootout in the hotel at the end was tense when they're pinned down by the snipers. Yeah, the plane crash I thought was really good.
But it is still like, I guess what it is this film, the music, the editing, the cinematography, the action.
It's all dated.
And it's all like standard. It's there's very little this movie does to make itself like unique. Like the one moment that's awesome is in the trailer, which is he gets in a burning car, which I don't know, that felt like a bad idea, but whatever. He like just grabs the handle and I was like, you can't do that.
Yeah, maybe don't do that. I don't know. Listen, he's a man with nothing to lose.
I know. I also liked at the beginning their weird extraction mission. A guy steps into the hallway and fires an RPG at point blank while like he's playing Call of Duty. Like that was an amazing moment that no one would do, but whatever. But for the most part, the action was, you know what? It didn't feel 90s. It felt like 2002.
Yeah.
It felt like Bourne Identity.
Yeah, a little bit. There was like no, like the gunplay, it wasn't stylized like John Wick. They kind of leaned more into like, kind of like modern warfare style of realism.
Right. And I'm nothing against realism. When they're in the plane and he has to like dive down and hold his breath, that's a great idea. I don't think it was shot particularly well. I didn't feel the tension. I thought the crash
was filmed really well, and I thought actually most of that scene was filmed really well, particularly because a lot of it's continuous. When he starts to work his way towards the back of the plane, while other people are the rest of his team are kind of swimming past him towards the front, and then the plane rolls.
Right.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great set piece. By the way, it led to my favorite line of the movie, which is him saying, "Guys, what if us getting shot down wasn't an accident?" It's like, yeah, what if?
Yeah, what if, man? Fucking what if?
Accidentally shot down.
Yeah, no, we were aiming at a dragon behind you, and then we hit your plane. No, I know what he meant. It was just a funny way to say that.
It's a great line.
Because the idea is that they were hiding on a passenger airplane, and they were supposed to, like, the passenger airplane had clearance, and they were supposed to secretly halo jump out of it. But then the Russian Air Force comes, and it's like, no,
right?
We think you got a bunch of army guys on that plane.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna go ahead and shoot you right down.
We're gonna shoot you right out of the sky.
Yeah.
So he was saying, I think we were set up, but that's like what he meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way he said it was very funny.
Yes.
I don't think
in a vacuum, it's a hilarious line.
Like, no, I don't think it was either.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
I think that guy shot a missile at your plane on purpose.
Very, very smart observation.
Yeah, I think it was extremely intentional.
Yeah. It's just... So it is, it's a 90s action thriller, but like we said, it's not a particularly good one, even for the 90s. And my main impression of this movie was like, it's just not enough. There's not everything. I was miles ahead of this movie at every given moment.
Yeah.
It was every cliche. It was done in every cliche way, where it's like, oh, late at night, family, her shot in the bed. He gets shot, goes to the hospital. It's every beat. It's, it was actually the higher up bad guy.
Yeah.
There's not a single surprise in this movie. And as well shot as it is, because it's not like, nobody who made this movie should feel like, oh, I did a bad job.
No, nobody's phoning it in here except maybe for Tom Clancy.
Yeah,
and even then, he probably you wouldn't have said he was phoning it in back in like 1992 or whenever this was written, because this was what action thrillers were at the time. Right.
It's not even Clancy's fault. I would blame it on whoever made the decision to adapt this and not
update enough of it.
Not update
because it's clear they've updated some stuff, but like the bones of the story are dated.
Yeah, and like people are gonna hate this idea. If there was ever a series that needs to, quote, go woke, it's this series, kind of. I don't know how they would do that.
What do you mean by go woke in this?
I meant sarcastically go woke.
Yeah,
like people would start complaining that they went woke.
But I need to know what you mean by that.
We talked about this with Jack Ryan. I don't know on anything, but like the enemies are still like Middle Eastern people or like Venezuela and helping a coup as they happen in season 2. And I keep saying this, they need white supremacists to be the villains.
Oh yeah, there
like
you
this
go.
That's what I mean is more go modern. And the fact that this character they made him a black man, I thought that was gonna play into it. It's the CIA. You know, these are all things.
I was going to say, like, it's tough with Clancy, specifically with Jack Ryan related stuff, because we begin from the standpoint that the CIA are the heroes. And it's like, well.
Exactly. And I think they need to start tearing it apart.
Yeah.
I think Clancy needs to roll over in his grave a bit. For this, because like being faithful to Clancy, it's not a good idea anymore.
No.
It doesn't work. The dads for this dad porn, they're all dying.
Yeah.
They're going to be gone soon. If you want to make, and like their idea in their head when they're like, we want to do a new improved Jack Ryan, it's putting Chris Pine on a motorcycle, you know? And it's like, no, you need to update the plot, who the enemy is, the role of the CIA.
Right, because the world has changed.
Yeah.
And it's not just like modern sensibilities and being more aware and less jingoistic about stuff that than we were during the Cold War, but it's also just being I don't know, like we're already saying it. It's just like you have like the conflicts aren't the same, the real threats aren't the same. The threats have molded and evolved, because in the 3.5 decades since the Cold War ended. It's like, yeah, things have fucking changed.
It's the most subversive Clancy is, oh, it wasn't the Russians. Because for some reason, they still think, like, that's the thing, is whenever they're like, oh, it wasn't the Russians, they think that's a twist.
Yeah, and it's
that
like,
we were
no.
watching and being like, oh, yeah, it's those Russians. And it's like, no, we're miles ahead of you. It's nobody is surprised by the events in this movie, right? No one's gonna. And so it's like, you have to do better now. And it's not Clancy's fault. He was of a time. He was doing political thrillers of a time. You know, either make that a period piece or update it. I don't know. It'd be like doing like novellas from the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
And having it being like, oh, it was those redcoats. It's like, what? Like, it's different. It's different now. So like this movie feels like just left behind, you know? It's the same as if you watch a comedy, you know, it's the same of how comedies go, where it's like, you gotta evolve your humor. you gotta do better with your plot. That's all. But it is hard because of who these movies are aimed for, right?
I guess so.
Because these movies are just, fuck yeah, the CIA and the Army are awesome.
Yeah. These movies,
I wouldn't be surprised if they're partially funded by the CIA.
Yeah.
You know, like,
well, I mean, this is an Amazon movie, and so is Jack Ryan, and it's like,
right.
We already know that Amazon isn't there some sort of connection between Amazon and Venezuela? I
know that John Krasinski has on multiple occasions fucking shilled for the CIA in interviews, talked about how great they are.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know, man.
It's and like the general twist of like false flag operations and the idea that the bad guys were war hawks in the U.S. government. Right. Just not as mind-blowing as it was back in 1992.
Yeah. And like here's the thing. It's going back to the idea of like people would be accusing of being woke. Like this is stuff for conservatives, right? Like these are, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. This is entertainment aimed at conservatives. I feel like Jack Ryan is. I feel like
probably. I mean, not. It's
us.
I would
like,
say
we love it.
Well, yeah. I would say it's less directly conservative and more. I mean, it's definitely antiquated, which tends to go hand in hand with a lot of conservatism.
I guess that's the thing. Can something be that and also not antiquated or not? Because what the problems are a lot with the like setting the ideology aside of the Jack Ryan stuff and the Tom Clancy stuff. This movie is just like the plot is antiquated. The structure is antiquated. And it's like you could probably update that, right? But is the idea that in order to update that, you have to be subversive. And when you're talking about the Army and the CIA, like Tom Clancy, it's this and like all of the ones like this, whenever it turns out to be, oh, it was the CIA who did it, they do the one bad apple idea.
Yeah.
It's always one bad apple. Oh, it was just Guy Pearce. We kill him. CIA is good now.
Well, he was actually the Secretary of Defense. The villain. Oh, right. The villain was nobody in the CIA.
Oh, right. So the CIA
is blameless in this.
And that's usually how these go. It's also how like Sorkin goes too. Sometimes it's always like, oh no, the system works. It's a bad apple, and it's like I think they have to, if they really want to be relevant. They have to be like, no, it's the system.
Yeah, for sure.
But that would alienate their audience, I think.
Yeah. I was just thinking about Sorkin. I had a particular experience watching Molly's Game for the first time. It's like, so the point of this movie was like a woman with literally every possible advantage was able to beat a charge in court. Okay.
I have
beat
not
a criminal
seen
charge.
That.
It's wow.
Yeah. Good old Sorkin.
Like the triumphant scene at the end is a real head scratcher. It's like, who am I rooting for?
Yeah. I put Sorkin on the same shelf as I put Clancy, which is like, I earnestly enjoy watching their work.
Aren't they good at what they do?
Yeah, with the knowledge that they belong decades
in
a
certain
past.
time. Yeah, they're both dinosaurs.
Yeah, and like they don't have anything relevant to say about today.
No.
And maybe that's just it. Maybe they just have to die slowly. These, or like maybe
you have
the
to,
answer to Tom Clancy stuff is don't make them.
I think we're going to get to that point because, as you pointed out, like most of Tom Clancy's fans are like in the boomer age group,
right?
Just because it's like real dense political fiction that's based on Cold War era conflicts and relationships and sentiments. So it just doesn't apply to people who would be its ideal target audience now. You know what I mean? Like for a new franchise, you want people like 18 to 35 to be into it.
Right.
And that's just like the people in that age group right now in 2021 just really don't give a fuck about Tom Clancy. So I think it either they need to just stop adapting it, which they won't, at least not for a while yet, because Clancy's such an institution unto himself. Like he's a brand.
Yeah.
But there's also the element you either stop adapting or you update it so much that it's not like it ultimately would get to the point of it's just what's the point? It's like if you update it as much as it needs to be updated, it is no longer recognizably Clancy because Clancy is so specifically of that time. So why do it?
All right. This is why I want them to do it.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's a good idea, and this is an irrational fear. I fear that in the future we will lose boring ass political thrillers, just in general. And Clancy is, like the Jack Ryan TV show. I was like, fuck yeah, we're gonna get some bookworm going out doing adventures. I don't know if we're at risk of losing that. I think as long as there's always old people, we're gonna have them, right? They don't have to have the banner of Clancy. For example, the movie The Accountant.
No, I think you can still make those movies.
They're like political action, like it's a mix of the two, where it's like number crunching, but also shooting guys.
Well, I mean, Bourne.
I love that bullshit.
Bourne is another person. It was I forget who.
Not enough bookworm stuff.
I forget who wrote Bourne. I'm just saying it was written for the same audience as Clancy, and that movie hit. Those movies hit pretty big. Well, that was 20 years ago too. So
that's the thing.
I think I diffused my own argument.
Another aspect of these movies that we already touched upon is the action is always quaint, and by quaint I just mean realistic.
Yeah.
And I don't want to lose sight of that. I love John Wick. I love Fast and Furious, but I always want there to be a category of action that's just like just a little more grounded. Mind you, this isn't a realistic movie.
No, but it's more more
but
grounded, which gives the action sequences a different kind of tension. Right.
So I think of Clancy as it's the McDonald's of that, It's the flagship. This is that style of thriller and political bullshit.
Yeah, it's the thing I said earlier. It's the modern warfare of political thrillers, and that's what you need to do if you want to keep making these movies for a new audience. Is you just like the modern warfare plot lines are basically this, just for younger people,
right?
They're just as stupid. They're just as based on jingoism and other. Yeah, it's just evolved.
Yeah. It's weird because I know in my core, I know this is all bad.
Yeah.
It's all bad.
It's all bad.
It's all propaganda.
Yeah.
But as a lover of,
this is
yeah. As a lover of schlock, I'm like, well, this can't go away.
No.
Like, I need this. The last pure hit I got was The Sum of All Fears. I think that was the last pure
2002,
hit.
Man. It's been a minute.
I know. James Cromwell's the president in that. It's like, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, he is. He's the president in Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah. But it's just, I think this movie is just like, and the season 2 of Jack Ryan, it's like we're at a point where it's like this shit is just not relevant anymore. And I don't know if it needs to be fixed.
It's just so nakedly propaganda because we're not, I don't know. I
don't even need it to be that's the thing is like, a movie like The Accountant with Ben Affleck. That's a surprisingly subversive movie at points. He's not like working for the CIA in that. He's like a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
You so have. We watched it together, Tom.
Did we?
He's an accountant.
I don't have any memory of The Accountant.
That's the right name, right? Ben Affleck?
Yeah. I have like glimpses of, oh, you know what? We did watch it. Oh, that movie was stupid.
It's so good. It's got J.K. Simmons in it. It's got fucking The Punisher, Anna Kendrick. Come on. John Lithgow's in it. Like, it feels like a 90s movie. It's got that 90s thriller sensibilities, but it's just a little more updated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's a good movie.
No, don't do that.
But it does some stuff that you wouldn't expect. I don't want to spoil it.
Sure. No, that's
fair. I don't want
to
spoil The Accountant.
Please don't.
So, like, that's what I mean is there's still that, like, vibe.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
It still exists, but it's just, I don't know. Action has gotten so meta. So, like, maybe this is just me getting older, where it's like, give me a chain reaction.
Yeah.
Give me a, like, you know, just give me a, like, oh, this person invented something, but they don't want people to know about it, so they're gonna kill him. But now it's just like, most actions are like commentaries on them, or they're just a fever dream like the Fast and Furious. Yeah, I don't know. Is this getting older, Tom? Is this like...
I don't know. I've not experienced getting older before.
Okay.
So it's hard for me to judge.
It's the kids who are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
No, it's the children who are wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how the kids feel about Tom Clancy's Without Remorse, and then we can revisit that. I don't think it's going to land with the kids.
I do not think so. I think they were correct to put this out on streaming because they're like, look, our age group, they need assistance to leave their house. They're like, you know, this is going to be playing at like retirement communities on full volume. I don't know.
It's going to be loud as fuck everywhere, anywhere it's playing.
Oh yeah,
anywhere it's playing. Like people, if you're watching this movie on purpose, it's like at max volume.
Yeah, I don't know. There's probably other people like us out there who just like earnestly, but like self-awarely, I hope, enjoy these movies.
Right.
Not so much this one though. The action was okay. It was just so. It was so by the book. It was so paint by numbers.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. I really enjoyed the plane sequence. The final sequence I thought was pretty decent in that I appreciate. I guess I enjoyed this a little bit more than you did because I think just because like you know, current modern action is John Wick, like that's prestige action, or it's Fast and the Furious where it's just like superhero balls out action. So it's refreshing once in a while to watch a movie where when somebody gets shot, it's a real problem.
Yeah, everybody has to stop and deal with it. I also like that. That's what I don't want to lose.
Yeah.
It's just that the plot of this was so bad.
Yeah, it
took a lot away from that enjoyment for me.
Marina walked in almost 40 minutes into the movie.
Right.
And instantly guessed the twist.
Right.
Because they're laying it, because it's so obvious. They're laying it on so thick. They're like, Jamie Bell is a crooked CIA. It's like, well, no, it's clearly Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
First of all, Guy Pearce is in the movie, which means that there's an 80% chance that he's the bad guy just by him being there.
They light him like a bad guy.
Yeah.
They give him makeup like a bad guy. It's like, of course he's the bad guy. Like, there's no other reason for him to be there.
Yeah, why else did you cast Guy Pearce in a James Cromwell role?
Right. And, like, I guess the question is, do the filmmakers care? You know?
I don't know. I don't know if they're just trying to do that thing well.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're like, man, they're going to shit when they learn it's Guy Pearce. It's like, surely you know the tropes. It's every trope. It's all the tropes.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, like...
I don't know, man.
I don't know. As we mentioned, it does still have, like, we are aware of what fridging is. Like, it's a term, and this movie still just does it.
Yeah, this feels like way behind the audiences today.
Yeah. It's dated.
And that's interesting. It's very dated.
It's dated in every conceivable way.
You'd think someone would notice that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Or
Or maybe, you know, it's the screenwriter who's just like, look, This is a job.
Look,
They're
it's a
paying
Tom
me.
Clancy.
I'm going to do whatever they want.
We're going to do a Tom Clancy. It is what it is.
Yeah.
We're just going to try to do the best Tom Clancy we can. Maybe that was the height of their aspiration for this film.
I couldn't believe it was. We're trying to start a war with the Russians. I couldn't believe that. That is. Oh my Christ! They've done that so many times.
Mm-hmm. They really have.
I want to watch Alex Cross now.
I mean, why the fuck not? Let's do it.
Why not?
Let's watch Along Came a Spider. Let's watch Kiss the Girls, Along Came a Spider, and Alex Cross.
Yeah. I thought Alex Cross, that's probably like 10 years ago now.
Yeah,
I thought that was a good update. I wish they kept going with that. I thought that was a really, like, I don't know, that scratched the itch for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's a different kind. That's a different kind of 90s
It's a different
thriller.
itch. Yeah, but they're all in the same area. We're all talking about, it's the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same, like, 90s cheese thrillers that I love so much.
Don't say a word.
Don't say a word. Wait, don't say a word. Which one is that?
It's the one with Michael Douglas and Brittany Murphy.
Oh, that's like 2002, though.
Yeah, but it's
still got it. It's still got it.
Directed by the Gary Flater, who also directed Kiss the Girls.
Oh, remember when we were making movies like K-Pax, Tom?
Hell yeah.
Who let that happen?
People talk a lot about the Space Jam website, but folks, the official K-Pax fan site is still up and running.
Still up. It's available if you want to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing more to say.
I have nothing else to say about Without Remorse. Yeah,
as evidence of talking about K-Pax.
We're now speaking about K-Pax. Yeah.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Go check out, I don't know, K-Pax. Don't watch K-Pax.
Don't watch K-Pax.
Watch Alex Cross.
Yeah.
And I guess you could watch this. It's not hurting anybody.
No.
I mean, it's kind of hurting. I don't know.
I don't think it's dated in a harmful way. Like I think even its ideology. I think its ideology is so dated that it's like
right.
It's like old timey racism in a way
right.
where it's just like shit.
It's all right. It's a negative depiction on the survivability of pregnant women.
That's true.
With their lives ahead of them.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys about our Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/gamefully unemployed, we have exclusive podcasts on there like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. We have a new series, Star Trek The Next Futurama, that comes out once a month. There's lots going on. We watch movies with people every Friday night.
Oh, That's sure
another
do.
Tier.
Yeah.
We watched RoboCop 2.
We did, yeah. There's a solid chance that we'll watch a lot of the movies that got brought up on this episode at some point. We definitely,
Some of all fears.
We definitely have to watch the Harrison Ford, Jack Ryan movies at some point.
Oh, yeah.
We could fucking kick back one Friday and throw on Patriot Games.
Oh, yeah. Which is the one where Gates McFadden is his wife?
I think it's Clear and Present Danger. I'm pretty sure it's Ann Archer and Patriot Games.
Yeah.
We also have a store, tpublic.com/store/gamefully unemployed. Where you can get t-shirts, masks, mugs, stickers, posters, all kinds of shit. So check that out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't afford not to.
You really can't. Not when we're on the brink of war with Russia.
With Russia, yeah.
All it'll take is some dickheads in a hotel shooting at the police and then fucking
accidentally shooting down
global nuclear war.
Yep.
Yeah, accidental. I don't think us getting shot down was an accident.
Make a new line. Write a new line.
Yeah, rephrase that. I get what he means, but try again.
Yeah.
This first draft doesn't have to be the last draft, man.
Yeah. Come on.
Take another swing at that one.